This is our VPP video for our Lesson 3 vocabulary words. Our first word is egalitarian. That's kind of a mouthful, one you'll probably have to concentrate on a little bit more for spelling. Here's our sentence. The egalitarian organization. So it's telling us something more specific about organization, modifying organization. So it's an adjective. Welcomed anyone, regardless of race or income. Basically, the definition of egalitarian is found in the sentence. If you are an egalitarian organization, then that means your organization promotes equal rights for all people, regardless of, in this case, race or income. So they're going to welcome anyone, whether they're Caucasian, African American, Chinese, French, whatever race, whatever background, whatever level of income a person makes, they will be welcome to the organization. Also, egalitarian has to do with gender as well. If you are an egalitarian, then you believe that men and women are equal. The opposite of this would be elitist. If somebody is an elitist, they look down upon others and they're not welcoming of anyone except for those who are like themselves. So here's a picture to help you remember it. Basically, think of equal, and egalitarian begins with an E, so that should help as well. So egalitarian equals equal because you believe that others are equal to you, whether or not they are of the same gender, race, income, etc. Our next word is animate. The promise of a free item will animate almost any shopper. Okay, so this is a verb. The shoppers are becoming animated. Okay, now you're probably thinking of animation, and that's a good thing to think about to help you figure out this word. Okay, if something is animated, it's come to life. Think about people who draw cartoons. They have these drawings on the page, and then the drawings are brought to life so that we can view them as if they were real people. So, animate means to give life or motion to. So you're in a store, and then somebody comes over the public address system and says, "Attention, all shoppers, if you come to the front of the store, you will receive maybe a free Coca-Cola or something like that." And so you're just shopping and not really paying attention, and then you hear this announcement and it's something free, and so you run up to the store. You're enlivened, you're encouraged, you're excited because you're going to get something free. The opposite is quell. If you quell something, or if something is quelled, it means it's settled down, it's calmed down. So I just put a picture here of obviously some very famous cartoon figures: Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, Daisy Duck. We start out with just drawings on the page, and then Walt Disney, and then of course his the people he employed later on, and even still today, bring these characters to life on the screen for us. Our next word is chauvinist. Now, this word is going to be the opposite of an egalitarian. So that's kind of cool that it's in this lesson, because these two words can help you. Putting them in the same lesson can help you remember what they both mean. So, the chauvinist, so it's a noun, felt that men's salaries were higher simply because men were smarter than women. And boys, I certainly hope none of you feel that way, because obviously I'm not going to be happy as a female teacher to hear that. And not only that, it's obviously flawed thinking. If you are a chauvinist, you are a person who has a fanatical devotion to a country, gender, or religion with contempt. Contempt means hatred for other countries, the opposite sex, or other beliefs. So typically we use chauvinist for gender issues, as we see here in this sentence. Men feeling like they're smarter than women. A lot of times we have the opposite as well. You can have women feeling like they are smarter than men or better than men. They are chauvinists as well. Country, you think your country is better than the other countries in the world. You would be a chauvinist for your country. Religion, you think your religion is better than other religions in the world. Okay, so here's a picture, and this goes back to the male female type of chauvinism. This is an ad, an old ad, obviously. It says, "The chef does everything but cook. That's what wives are for." So apparently, the chef is this type of mixer, kind of similar to what I have in my kitchen. I have a KitchenAid, but, anyways, this ad is saying this particular appliance does a lot of work, but the rest of the cooking is going to be left up to the wife because cooking is below a man. That is a woman's job. So obviously, that is a chauvinistic type of attitude and totally outdated. Our next word is belated. You should know what this means already. And we have a word from a previous lesson to help us figure out what it means if you don't know what it means. Dan dallied. So you're going to see dally here from, I believe that was lesson 2. If you dally, you waste time or you dawdle, and provided only a belated thank you to his friend. So the word late in belated is going to help you figure out what this means. It means delayed, tardy, late. Okay, maybe the friend gave him a gift for his birthday, and then it takes Dan like a month to give him a thank you note. The opposite is timely. If you do something on time, obviously not belated. So this is where we typically see the word belated used. You forget someone's birthday and then you give them a belated birthday greeting or send them a belated birthday card. "I missed your birthday. Can you forgive me? Happy belated birthday." Our next word is ostentatious. This is another word where you might need to focus some more on the spelling this week. Wearing a big diamond necklace to a supermarket is usually considered ostentatious. All right, so this is an adjective, and it would be ridiculous to go to Publix, Bilo, Walmart, Target, whatever, and wear this type of jewelry. People would look at you and think, why is she wearing that just to come shopping? It doesn't seem to fit in. And so if you are wearing a big diamond necklace at the supermarket, it means you are marked by a conspicuous, showy, or pretentious display. It's like you're showing off to other people. Look what I have, look what I own. And I don't care if I'm just at Target, I'm going to show this off. Synonym would be grandiose. The opposite would be unobtrusive or bland, meaning you just kind of blend in and nobody really notices you. So, for ostentatious, we have a lot of people in pop culture who typically display ostentatious behavior and they get the attention of the media all of the time. So, for a picture to help us remember what ostentatious means, I have a picture of Lady Gaga. And this is a mild picture of some ostentatious behavior being displayed by her with this crazy wig, looks like some kind of dreadlocks, and this crazy eye patch over her eye and this big earring in her ear. One time she showed up at some kind of, I think it was an award show, wearing a dress made out of meat. I don't even know how that's possible. So she's just one example of someone in pop culture who typically displays ostentatious behavior. I'm sure you can think of others. Our next word is edifice. It's hard to get the meaning of this word from the sentence. It's probably not the best one to figure it out as far as context clue strategy. But let me go ahead and read it. Time passes, and even the largest edifice may crumble. All right, an edifice is a noun, it's a thing. And let me just go ahead and give you the definition. It's a large, elaborate structure, an imposing building. A synonym would be a fortress. The opposite is hovel, and hovel is something, or is a word that we're going to see later as a vocabulary word on our list. A hovel is like a shack or just a very small, kind of wretched living place. So, edifice is the opposite of that. There are all types of these edifices in the world. Think of the Empire State Building in New York, the Sears Tower in Chicago. Don't really have many edifices here in Greenville. Also, think of things like the Hoover Dam out west. Here's a picture from Egypt. Okay, pyramids, the Sphinx. All of these are edifices. They're big structures. Okay, whether or not they're inhabitable or not, just a large, typically man made structure. Our next word is need. So, obviously, when I call out the spelling words next week, you're going to make sure you know it's this need and not NEED. Sally kneaded the clay to achieve a smooth surface on the durable pottery items she was making. So, she's doing something, so that's a verb. And this one is easy. If you are kneading clay or dough, you're working it into a uniform mixture. You're squeezing it, you're rubbing it, you're pressing it. Think of mom making bread in the kitchen or a pie crust or something like that. We can also use it to talk about our muscles. Think about how after you have a workout, maybe you're sore and you'd like a massage or somebody to knead your muscles to help them relax. Here's a picture of the context that we use it most in, kneading some type of dough. Our next word is berserk. Hopefully, you know what this means already. This is an adjective. It's describing a dog in this sentence. The berserk dog ran in circles before chasing the cement truck. I have a black lab, and she lets us know when somebody has arrived. She typically kind of goes berserk, barking and just letting us know that somebody who is not supposed to be there has pulled into our driveway or is at our door. If you go berserk, because people can do this as well, you are in a state of violent or destructive rage. Okay, destroying things. Now, thank goodness my lab doesn't typically destroy things anymore because she's not a little puppy, but she would do that when we first got her. But when people go berserk, they're destroying things. Think about the unfortunate news stories that we hear frequently, unfortunately, what happened in Orlando this summer with the shooter in the nightclub. Okay, he went berserk, and obviously a lot more serious than a berserk dog. Frenzied behavior. The opposite is placid. If somebody's placid, they're peaceful. Complacent, you do what people want you to do and you're not going crazy. So here's a picture, and this is in a funny context, unlike the Orlando news story, but one of my favorite Christmas movies, Elf. I'm sure you guys recognize this scene. The dwarf who has come to supposedly help Buddy's father get his children's publishing company back on track. Buddy doesn't know what to do with this guy because he thinks he's one of Santa's helpers. And I forget the guy's name, but he gets really upset and he says, "You feeling strong, my friend? Call me Elf one more time." And unfortunately, Buddy doesn't pick up on his sarcasm here and he calls him Elf. And then this guy gets up and runs across the table and goes berserk, attacking Buddy the Elf. Our next word is ambidextrous. Again, one you might need to look at a little bit more for spelling. Hopefully, you know what this means already. We're using this in the context of a tennis player for this sentence. It's an adjective describing the type of tennis player. Ambidextrous tennis players are rare and they aim their ground strokes at opponents from weird angles. If you are ambidextrous, that means you are equally skillful with either hand. Sometimes people are ambidextrous in just one type of scenario, like a tennis player, or if you're a switch hitter in baseball. I think it's pretty rare, though, for that to be the case. And here's a picture to help you remember what ambidextrous is. Here, this woman is writing with both her left hand and her right hand, and she's equally skillful with both. I cannot write with my left hand, that is for sure. Our next word is delude, and I believe this is our last word this week. Tom Sawyer deluded, so he's doing something, so it's a verb, his gullible friends. If you're gullible, you're naive, you're kind of oblivious to people's true motives, into whitewashing a fence for him. So if you read Tom Sawyer for summer reading before 8th grade with Mrs. Poss, you probably recognize this scenario, or at least Tom Sawyer's character. If you delude someone, you mislead them, you fool them, you deceive them. Okay, so it's obviously not a good thing. The opposite is enlighten. Okay, you're showing them the truth of the situation. So here's our picture. We've got two guys shaking hands. They're each pretending to be friendly. However, they have knives behind their back, which means that they want to attack one another. So they're trying to mislead the other person by pretending that they are friendly and that they have good intentions, when obviously we know by looking at the picture that they both have bad intentions for each other. All right, these are our words for lesson 3. Please make sure to put your honor pledge that you watched this whole video on your exercise 1 homework.